southern states are higher than the number of MPs which Congress has. Andhra goes a different way, Telangana goes a different way, Kerala goes a different way, Tamil Nadu goes a different way. So you can't say there's single picture which is emerging, but the number of MPs from the BJP still are higher than the Congress party. And that is something you all must accede to. So the wrong narrative building which is happening, I can only say is very motivated and is not the correct number which they are showcasing.
Meenakshi ji, very recently, chief ministers of 3 states were chosen. 4 states rather were chosen. 1 was for the Congress party, 3 were for the BJP. The Congress picked up their chief minister in a jiffy, which was already pre-decided. But the Bharatiya Janata Party took their own time. What became very, very prominent is that, you know, the cadre system that the Bharatiya Janata Party speaks of, the consultation model that the Bharatiya Janata Party believes in was actually at play. Do you think this is the prime example for the success of the Bharatiya Janata Party and the camaraderie that we see within the Bharatiya Janata Party and the success? Because you've had a number of successful chief ministers bowing out in a very peaceful manner. Is this the success of the organizational structure and ethos?
I think one is that aspirations and self-interest at times can take over, but finally it's the ideology which is far more important than anything else. So if ideology is the glue which keeps people together, they will forget their own selfish interests and move on for the sake of ideology, number one. Number two, when you talk of internal party mechanism, I think it's a very, very strong mechanism which exists in the party, and also the leadership. The leadership of Mr. Modi and others, Mr. Nadda, Mr. Shah, Brajnaji, everyone, there's a hierarchy, there is a system. So if A is not behaving the manner in which A should, then B will take over. You have a place to go and complain to C, then C may consult with D. So there is a mechanism in which things get addressed and get to be heard. So everyone gets to be heard. There is space for all kinds of voices. And then you sort of churn out the best, and that's what you see. I mean, a lot of people try to criticize many decisions, but ultimately all those decisions proved right for reasons which were very well known to the party leadership, and of course people saw it over a period of time so far as success of those decision-making processes was concerned. So especially people in your business may be bound by certain thought processes, certain names and faces we are more familiar with. But as the decision-making happened, we saw that the 3 people who have been chosen as the CMs of the states, they will do their best to carry on the party's ideology and work towards delivering the promises and the schemes which the center has made for taking the whole country forward and carry on the process of growth within their own states. True to the core. So I think, and a lot of hard work which goes into it. A lot of monitoring that happens.
Well said, Meenakshi. Let's talk about 2024 now. You know, Prime Minister Modi is, by a number of votes, the most popular leader in the world today. That obviously is going to translate, you know, to a number of victories in 2024. But could there be any sense of complacency in any matter, regardless of the popularity and regardless of the astounding results that the BJP has received in the past? And if there is there even, you know, a sense of monitoring if there is complacency and acting upon it?
So let me tell you that every small, big thing, the schemes, etc., if few things have to be carried on and carried out, certain tasks are given, you have to say, meet X number of people, and you fake it and you say, I met You may meet Y and say Y plus 10 is my number. It all gets reported. And so there is a very, very strong method of working. And whoever works strictly merit-based kind of coordination effort, and there is no word called complacency in the party. In fact, those who will fake those things will get listed, that they are not actually performing on the ground, they are not conducting the business in the rightful manner. So end of the day, it's the work which is counted, and it's a very, very hardworking people are the ones who get to be elevated and taken forward. So I think there is no word called complacency in our party, and especially with the leadership of Mr. Modi. So even if he knows that people are tilting towards BJP, he would still ensure that people on the ground go and work on the ground. No air conditioning conversations that can take you forward. So it's the work on the ground.
All right, let's also talk about Delhi. Your ground, you have been very successful in it, Member of Parliament from New Delhi. What hasn't worked for the BJP when it comes to the assembly elections? Why is the Aam Aadmi Party continuing to taste the luck, continuing to forge their place in people's heart, whereas the BJP is, of course, ruling the roost when it comes to national elections? Why is this so complex for the Bharatiya Janata Party to crack?
So I would not comment, but two things which came to my notice. One was regarding the voter list, how that was manipulated in Delhi recently. And the second part is sometimes people get taken by false promises. 524 crore of budget for advertising. I think these three things went against us. We don't have strength in these things. So when it comes to the national election, there is a different energy with which the whole party moves, and Mr. Modi definitely is one pull factor which works, and the delivery mechanism when it comes to national issues has been there. Now we are seeing people, when we go around, people have the ability to compare that even in municipal governance, when BJP corporators were there, things were happening in much streamlined manner, much better manner. But MCD never got adequate funding by the Delhi government. So MCD was sought to be collapsed because all the blame came to MCD when the resources were controlled by others. And most work has to be done by MCD. And there were no resources. Now imagine one example through you I want to share with the world, because people at times are not aware how governance operates. An area which is of an MP has 10 Vidhan Sabhas, 10 legislative assemblies. So one area which has 10 legislative assemblies, the MP-led fund is 5 crores a year. 1/10 the area is with one MLA, and MLA-led fund for Delhi is 10 crores, which means an MP's area, Delhi government has 100 crores. I don't see, at least in my area, that 100 crore per year has been spent in my area. Whereas 5 crore for that area, I can count on my fingertips and tell you where the money has been spent. So, with the finances and financial mechanism, a lot of misuse is what we see. A lot of false promises, what we see. A lot of boards and hoardings, etc., which we see. Whereas a person who's performing on the ground doesn't have the wherewithal to do all this, because you ask, from where is the MP going to pay for the advertising? How? How on planet Earth can MP have newspaper advertisements or paid advertisements on the sites, etc.? I mean, these are tough calls.
Meenakshi ji, we've run out of time. One last question before we let you go. 2024 is around the corner. The winning formula is working already. Do you think there's bound to be some additions to it, or do you think what has worked for the BJP will continue to work for the next 5 years as well?
No, we always have elements which help us win. And the strategy for every election is different from the strategy of earlier elections. Some things we keep continuing, and some things we change depending on the demand of the election or the circumstance or the situation. And I'm sure you'll see the improvised version of BJP in coming elections, and we will definitely be working very, very hard to get through to 24. It's not just being confident or overconfident for that matter. It's about taking the work to the ground. And as PM says, let every scheme reach its saturation. So for example, Ujjwala Gas Yojana, when we started, there were only about 11-12 crore connections in the whole country. 100 crore plus people, and the connections are only 11 crore. Right now, the coverage has reached 55% and above. So there is still some work. So PM is of the opinion, let there be no household which is needy be without a cooking gas connection. Let there be no one who is needy be without a pension benefit. Let there be no one, not a single household which is without water connection or electricity connection or insurance schemes or pension schemes or bank accounts. These are things you need to work at, and thus the entire emphasis is that let those people who have been left out of the schemes for one reason or the other be brought on board, and let them be benefited by the government schemes. So let every scheme reach its saturation. Those in that category must get a home. Those in that category must have access to clean toilet. Those in the category must have access to Jan Dhan Khatas and Janaushadhi Kendra, so on and so forth.
Right. Meenakshi ji, thank you so much for coming to Manch and speaking to us.